Banks dive into the Metaverse. HSBC acquires a plot of land in the virtual world of the Sandbox. India ditches cryptocurrencies and opts for a centralized digital currency. Ukraine finally legalizes cryptocurrencies. And, as expected, the United States Federal Reserve increases interest rates due to the worrying inflation data. All of this and more here on Nebulus's Daily Newscast. The British multinational bank HSBC steps into the Sandbox metaverse. The firm acquires a plot of land to enhance interactions with gaming and sports followers in the metaverse. The second largest bank in Europe is the latest addition to the list of financial entities that have immersed themselves into the metaverse to boost the industry in these virtual worlds. Recently, we saw how the American bank JP Morgan also made decisions in the metaverse and opened a hall in Decentraland. India ditches cryptocurrencies, in the words of the Ministry of Finance. During a session of the upper house in the Indian Parliament, he confirmed that the government has no plans to introduce cryptocurrencies. And let's not forget that the country has still no regulations in that respect. The minister stated, however, that the Central Bank of India is working on implementation of the digital currency. This digital rupee, says the leader, has the potential to provide significant benefits such as less dependence on cash and lower transaction costs. However, this new digital currency would be backed by the Indian rupee and centrally managed by public institutions, so the philosophy of CBDCs has few similarities with the philosophy of cryptocurrencies. Since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, the cryptocurrency sector has completely turned to those affected. Faced with this reality, the Eastern European country has approved a law on virtual assets. Its President Zelensky has signed this new rule to regulate the cryptocurrencies market, which will be supervised by the National Bank of Ukraine and the National Securities Market Commission. Points that stand out in the law are determining crypto's legal status and conditions for virtual asset providers to register. According to the Minister of Finance himself, this rule represents an important step forward in bringing the cryptocurrency sector out of the shadows and launching a legal market for virtual assets in Ukraine. Speaking of regulations, Argentina advances measures in this respect. The Financial Information Unit is working to force cryptocurrencies to report and register transactions of their clients. The idea is that operators in the field of crypto should adapt their legislation against money laundering in Argentina. Argentina is a country with considerable crypto adoption. According to the Finder Consulting Group, the South American country ranks 13th out of a total of 27 countries being analysed. 15% of its citizens own cryptocurrencies. Hackers are back in action. A hacker has managed to seize $11 million. The attack took place on the Agave and 100 Finance DeFi. The hacker managed to take hold of different tokens such as wrapped Ethereum, Chainlink or USDC in the Gnosis blockchain, and also took advantage of a bug known as the re-entrance bug in both protocols. This error allows you to gain control of a smart contract and request the transfer of funds. In terms of the macroeconomy, the Federal Reserve of the United States has decided to increase interest rates, placing them between 0.25 and 0.50%. One of the reasons for the rise in interest rates is the increasing inflation in the American country, mostly caused by the high energy prices. The Federal Reserve recognizes that the Ukraine war could continue to cause great pressure on the price index. In addition to the rise in interest rates, the Federal Reserve announces that they're also going to be reducing their balance, which means getting rid of assets that have been acquired over the last few months. These assets are ultimately debt and mortgage bonds. The announcements had an impact on Bitcoin's price for a few minutes, which dropped to $39,300, after which it bounced back and continued its upward movement, which had kicked off earlier yesterday. Today, it's maintained at around $40,000. This brings us to the end of today's session. Visit Nebolus.com to stay informed on all things crypto. Until tomorrow.